Good evening, tubers. Matt M. Roy back once again. Well, it looks like the cell phone companies have done it again. If you have been following what's been happening lately, you'll know that 5G is here. And for those of you that don't have 5G yet, it is coming. By the end of this year, really even within the next 2-3 months, September, October, most major cities in the continental United States will have 5G service. What does that mean for us? Well, it means that your health is at risk. And the bad part is it's not just the people that have 5G and are actively using it. So let's say you have a brand new cell phone, you got the new Galaxy S11 with all the bells and whistles, and yes, it is 5G capable. That can be you, but it may not be you. You may be like me, who likes to stick with the older technology. I have my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, which is a 4G phone, which I will be holding on to for the foreseeable future. But the 5G rollout will be affecting me as much as it will the person that is the early adopter and is going to be getting that brand new Samsung Galaxy S11, whatever they're going to call it, the new iPhone XR, whatever phone is going to be 5G capable. And here is why. All cell towers emit RF radiation, radio frequency radiation. That happens now. What makes them dangerous, plans to transition to the new 5G system around the world is already underway. Soon cities will be retrofitted with the technology. Now here's the interesting part. Many cell stations will be placed all throughout our neighborhoods and cities. They will be installed on the sides and tops of buildings and on street light poles. Now, that is very concerning. And the reason they have to do this is these new cell phone 5G signals use a totally different type of wave. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up real quick. Trying to remember what they call it. I had it right here and I just lost it. Sorry, guys. Let me pull this up real quick. We've been having some issues with our internet recently. Okay. All right. So, what it is, 5G cell towers are more dangerous than other cell towers for two main reasons. First, compared to earlier version, 5G is ultra high frequency and ultra high intensity. So basically we have a wave that is higher on the frequency band, and we're talking about going from 24 to 90 gigahertz frequencies, whereas before we were at the 1 to 6 gigahertz range. So higher frequencies and ultra high intensity. So not only is it a higher frequency, it's a more intense wave. Second, since the shorter length millimeter waves, codenamed MMV, used in 5G do not travel as far or through objects as easily, with our current number of cell towers, the cell signal will not be reliable. To compensate for this, many more mini cell towers must be installed. If it is eliminated, it is estimated that they will need a mini cell tower every 2 to 8 houses. This will generally increase our RF radiation exposure. In layman's terms, what that means is every other or maybe every 2 to 5 houses are going to have this repeater. Like you may have a repeater in your house to boost your Wi-Fi signal from one end of the house to the other. They're going to have a repeater similar to that on houses, light poles, high tension lines, whatever they can put them. The problem with that is it's going to increase the amount of RF radiation that we're going to be exposed to. And because these millimeter waves are more intense, when those waves go through us, as they inevitably will, just like 1G, 2G, 3G, and 4G did, they are going to cause more damage. And generally, it's going to be in the form of different types of cancers. And it's the sad part of this is it's not limited to one specific type of cancer. We're talking about pancreatic cancer, brain cancer, stomach cancer, wherever that wave goes through. The incidences of cancer are going to be greater. And yes, it is going to depend on the individual. Those that are more susceptible genetically to cancer will inevitably have a higher risk of getting it anyway. But the fact that they're rolling this out and they're trying to keep all this information hush hush is very concerning. And that's why I wanted to go ahead and do this live stream. Now, here's something else that was published, my sources at howtogeek.com. Some 5G pundits contend that the new network generates radio frequency radiation that can damage DNA and lead to cancer. So basically, cancer is mutated cells. And as we all know from disasters like Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island, any type of excess radiation can damage and mutate cells and cause cancer. Causes oxidative damage that can cause premature aging, disrupt cell metabolism, and potentially lead to other diseases through the generation of stress proteins. So we're not talking about just cancer here. We're talking about premature aging, looking older before your time. We're talking about things like digestive problems. You know, I don't want to go into a lot of details because I'm not a physician, but to me, this is just very alarming. And the fact that, again, that they're not talking about this is another thing, another reason that we need to put this out. So if you're out there watching this live and you guys want to let somebody know about this, share this video. You know, it'll be re-uploaded afterwards, and share this video. I have no problem with you guys doing that at all. David New asks, would there be any way to avoid 5G? Unfortunately, no, because like I said earlier, they're putting these towers basically every maybe 300 or 400 feet, every 2 to 3 to 4 houses are going to have these repeater towers. So even if you do not have a 5G device, those waves are going to be going through you because they're going through the air. So there really isn't any way to do this. The only way to be perfectly safe would be to cancel the rollout of 5G and wait until you figure out a safer alternative. And you got to realize 5G is not a specific platform. 5G is just the 5th generation of the cell phone networks. And basically, it's going to mean higher speeds, higher data speeds. For the most part, that's what it means. You know, we're getting into the gigabit range now. So each cell phone company is going to have a different network. And that's alarming because we're going to have multiple repeater towers everywhere. It's going to be like a whole jumble. And one of the first signs that we're in trouble is if you start feeling lethargic, you're losing your energy, you can be depressed. A lot of people now, just with the 4G waves and all the different radio frequencies that are out now, feel depressed. As a matter of fact, when I lived in the apartments that are maybe about 4 or 5 miles away from where I live now, when we first moved here, I was very depressed. And wouldn't you know, there were high tension wires that actually went right by where the apartment was. And there have been studies out there that suggest that even just high tension wires, the electrical waves going through those high tension wires can cause people to be depressed. So I'm not trying to freak anybody out here, but at the same time, this information needs to get out, and hopefully the right people are going to go ahead and see this video and say, wait a minute, maybe we need to rethink this 5G rollout. Probably not, but at least that's my hope for this video. And yes, I do appreciate that $1.05 super chat from Mr. Jimmy. Thank you so much for that. Eric Brunhammer says, in South New Jersey, something like 30% of my area is still on dial-up, LOL. You know what? I'd almost prefer dial-up to getting cancer early on. I mean, it's very scary when you think about it. That's going to make my life fun, David New. Well, I don't know. We're going to have to figure this thing out. I'm with you too. And again, that's why I'm doing this video. It is very disturbing. Okay, so here is something else that I wanted to let you guys know about. The new 5G networks rolling out in 2019 will offer faster speeds, better connectivity, but most people won't be able to access them since they'll only be available in a small number of markets next year. Your current phone won't be able to work on Your current phone won't be able to work on 5G. So basically, what they're saying is, not only is it going to be bad for your health, but if you want to take advantage of 5G when it rolls out, again, you will have to buy a new device. So the good news is, for the time being, it's only in a select number of cities, basically test markets to see how well it sells. And my thinking on the matter is, if they're running these test markets, if people don't buy and utilize the new 5G networks and devices, then they're going to fail. I mean, it's the oldest game in the book, supply and demand. They're going to supply the 5G network, but if there's no demand for it, then they're going to have to just do away with it and hopefully figure something else out. Kind of like a boycott, to be honest with you. That would be my take on the best way to protest the rollout of this potentially deadly network. It is. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people may disagree with me, but I've spent quite a bit of time researching this out, and everyone is saying that this is going to be detrimental to people's health. And again, I'm not a scientist or a health expert, but I've done a lot of research when it comes to health in general. You guys know I've been on a fitness venture the last 2-3 years. And when I did my research for that, a lot of that entailed learning about healthy ways to eat, but also things to avoid in the environment. And so this is extremely concerning. And again, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the waves that this is going to emit are so intense because of the design of the network. Now, could they redesign it and make it less dangerous? They probably could, but you are going to lose the speeds. The fact that the waves are more intense, that's what actually allows you to get the faster speeds in the first place. William McCullough says, idiots will purchase because they need the next so-called greatest thing. There is a lot of truth to that. We have the early adopter movement. People want the latest and the greatest things out there. Think about when the iPhone was released in 2007, the first iPhone. How many people stood in front of that Apple store in California, Silicon Valley, to get their hands on that iPhone? I mean, I remember seeing pictures of it wrapped blocks and blocks and blocks around that store. But if enough people say, no, we are not going to get this because we do not want to support something that is going to be detrimental to our health and inevitably cause more people to get cancer, then there is a good chance that we can make a difference. And that's what my hope is here today. Everybody's talking about the heat right now, and yeah, I mean, I feel your pain. If you're in the southeastern U.S. like I am, you are dealing with some pretty serious heat right now. But I mean, that's typical. Let's be honest. I mean, it's basically the middle of July. Generally speaking, July and August are going to be the hottest months pretty much anywhere you live in the world. Right, except depending, except if you are on the opposite side, like this is, winter for Australia. So I should have said the United States, North America. Yeah, I'm going to retract what I just said before. All right, everybody. So basically, that is going to be the end of this live stream. It was never going to be long. I just wanted to get that information out there. Make sure you share this video with your family and friends. If you guys have any connections with the media out there, I don't care who it is. You can have my permission to share this video and contact me. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. You guys are going to get a twofer as well because I actually did film a vlog today, which I'm going to be uploading within the next hour or so. So again, please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.